Keith Schillen, Sherdog.com. I'm here with one of the top coaches in the world, Coach Eric Albarracin. Coach, we're at Bellator 249. You got a very busy night as you got two men fighting tonight. How you feeling, man?
I feel great. You know, the initial journey was a little bit, had a couple obstacles. We were 2 days staying in the airport. Friday, Saturday, got here on Sunday. There was some COVID-19 authorization problems, and it caused a couple of hiccups. But now it's fight day. It's all behind us, and we're ready to show up and show out. Patricio Pitbull, Leandro Higo, both in title eliminator fights, and you know, all we see is gold. We're always looking for that gold medal, that world title. So Patricky is looking to get another shot at the world title, and so is Leandro Higo.
So let's talk about that first. I want to start with Patricky. He's in the co-main event. He's taking on Willis. Obviously, Willis he's returning to Bellator. He's been fighting on the regional scene, a regional champion. Not the normal guy that Patricky would face, you know, kind of a prospect, not a veteran. What did you know about Willis ahead of time, and how do you feel about the matchup now?
He's a very tough opponent. He's the LFA champion. LFA is probably one of the premier leagues outside of Bellator, UFC, and ONE. And usually a lot of those guys that become champions in LFA become stars in the UFC and Bellator. So he's a very hot prospect. He's big. He comes from wrestling. He was overweight, so he's even bigger. I think he won the LFA title at 170, and over here he was, I think, 3 pounds over. So he's a big guy for Patricky. There's a noticeable size difference, but I think the experience Patricky has, the king of knockouts, most knockouts in history, you could expect another KO by the hands of Patricio Pitbull.
Now, missing weight, does that add any animosity to the fight?
No, I mean, these guys just go out there and take care of business.
So let's talk about Leandro. He's taking on Ricky Van House. It's the fight that, you know, if we're being honest, the fans are excited about this one. A lot of media members are saying this is the best matchup of the card. Ricky Van House is a very tough opponent. What do you think about that matchup?
Oh, Ricky Van House he's good, man. He's huge too. I didn't realize how big he was until the weigh-ins, how tall he was. Great taekwondo. He's dangerous on the feet for sure. So, you know, but Leandro's fought the best of the best. Leandro's been fighting a who's who ever since he stepped into Bellator, and that's what we expect. Is he's always going to be against tough fighters because he has the goal of being world champion, and to be a world champion, you got to beat the best guy that stands in front of you. And right now, that's Ricky Van House. And you know, Leandro hasn't fought in a little bit. His last fight was about a year ago against Sean Bunch. But you're going to see a new and improved Leandro Higo. He's got another self that he's ready to display. Come tonight. It's a Thursday night, not Friday, not Saturday, guys. Make sure you get on CBS Sports Network and mark that on your calendar. Put that on your phone. CBS Sports Network tonight, Thursday night, Bellator 249.
There you go. You should be working for Bellator's promotional teams. You can at least get a check from them or something like that. So you believe, you were just talking off air, you think either guy, if they win or both guys, that they're going to be next in line for a title shot. The issue is Patricky is a lightweight. Obviously, his brother is the current champion. They announced this week that if Patricky does get a title shot, that Patricio will give up the title. So let's talk about Patricio. It has been announced that he's fighting November 12th, the match against Pedro Carvalho. By the time he steps in the cage, it'll be over a year, and this is a guy who's usually extremely active. Is there any worry that, you know, it's been over a year since he fought, like any worry of ring rust or anything like that?
I would say no, because Patricio is experienced enough. He's been through this before. To me, he's pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and I've seen him train over the years, and he's one of the guys that after he becomes champion, he reminds me of a GSP a little bit. He's just a guy that continues to strive to evolve. He does not sit on his credentials, and he's just he finds ways to improve, and you're gonna see Patricio Pitbull 2.0, the greatest fighter in MMA today, fight on November 12th. And by the way, he's a Bellator fighter.
Yeah. Let's talk about his opponent, Pedro Cavallo. I know there's some animosity, there's some beef between the Pitbull team, SBG Ireland. What do you think about, not the animosity, what do you think about the skill set of Pedro Cavallo, and how does he match up against Pitbull?
Yeah, I mean, he trains with Conor McGregor's team, so they got good coaching over there. They got, the Pitbull Brothers versus SBG is one of the biggest rivals in MMA today. We have, 2 champs coming out of the Pitbull Brothers. So they're the original guy with the champ and Conor McGregor, and we're the reigning. We have the reigning champ in Patricio Pitbull, and for Patricio Pitbull to destroy one of Conor McGregor's soldiers in Pedro Carvalho, that just gets us one step closer. We take out each one of their soldiers until the General Matt comes to save them. And then we put our hands on, then we finally can maybe get the biggest cross-promotion fight in history. I mean, I don't know why, Conor McGregor was talking about a charity event. If you're talking about a charity event, and if you're talking about fighting somebody that normally the UFC wouldn't put together, why not fight the greatest fighter on the planet today, Patricio Pitbull? Seems like he wanted to fight somebody he already beat and fought already, in Dustin Poirier. So if you're going to put on a charity fight, which means you can fight anybody, especially an MMA fighter, I wonder why he didn't pick up Patricio Pitbull. You could say that maybe he doesn't know him, but I can guarantee they know who Patricio Pitbull is because they're training for him. And they're training for Patricky, and Peter McQueely were supposed to fight. And we got, and I got 3 135 pounders for James Gallagher, Leandro Higo, Mateus Matos, even Santa Cruz is another fighter the Pitbull brothers have signed at 135 pounds. So they know who we are, and they know who Patricio Pitbull is. I'm just saying, if you're going to do a cross-promotion fight that has nothing to do with UFC, I think Conor McGregor versus Patricio Pitbull is the fight to me. For charity, of course.
Yes. So there's a lot to unwrap there. Now, we could go down the Conor row forever. I think you've stated very well why you believe Pitbull. But one thing you mentioned 135, you mentioned double champ. If I say double champ and I say 135, obviously I got to ask you about Henry Cejudo. Now, I know you've been asked about him. He says he's retired, but he's always been very active on Twitter. It seems like every time somebody's close to his weight class wins a big match, he kind of starts throwing his name back out there. Can we put to bed that he's not returning, or do you have your opinion changed and you think that we'll see the champion back in there?
Well, you've heard him call out, from his own words, Alex the Average. So he wants the shot at that 66, 145-pound title. He said he'd come out of retirement for that, and I believe him. I take Henry at his word. Yes, he's retired, but something that Henry's different is that he's always trying to conquer what's never been conquered. He's not about holding belts and maybe 10 title defenses like some other people. He's a different person. He wants to conquer what's never been conquered, and he did that when he was the youngest Olympic champion in history. He did that when he beat the greatest pound-for-pound fighter with over 10 or 11 world title defenses in Demetrius Johnson, who had knocked him out in the first round of the first 2 minutes of the first round. The first time they fought, he went up and fought the greatest bantamweight in history who was on performance-enhancing drugs. He beat him in 32 seconds. And then he went on to win the 135-pound title. Triple C, something that's never been been conquered before. An Olympic champion too, and a champ. And he's. But with Henry, if you're just speaking MMA, there are other champs. And he'd like to be the first person to to conquer what's never been conquered, and that's why he's going after that C4 status. And I don't think underestimating him because he's a 35-pounder is the right thing to do. He's the greatest combat athlete in history. You got, I think their coaches and their team think that he's an easy fight. Oh, he is not an easy fight. That's the last thing they should be thinking, and not underestimate him, because one thing Cejudo knows how to do, and that's compete. He knows how to win.
Obviously, it's busy weekend for you in Bellator, but you have another fighter who's headlining a UFC card, so I'm sure, unfortunately, you're not be able to get out there, but I'm sure you're watching on TV. Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie, taking on Brian Ortega. Two-part question, obviously, how do you feel about the matchup? And is it a guarantee that he wins that, he's getting the title shot? Against the same guy we just been talking about.
So I feel the matchup is great. We've prepared for him, for Brian Ortega before. I did an 8-week camp with Korean Zombie and Leandro Higo last year. We were supposed to fight him in December, and then he got hurt. So we prepared. This would be the second time we prepared for him. This time I was training Paulo Costa for his world title fight, so I was training the Korean Zombie via Zoom. It's a big time difference. I think they were 12 hours ahead exactly. So we were training, I was up at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning watching his training while he was in Korea. So he looks good, man. Korean Zombie, it's a zombie apocalypse. 2020 isn't complete until the zombie apocalypse happens, and that's coming October 17th when the Korean Zombie, takes out Brian Ortega and stamps his shot as the #1 featherweight to fight Alex Volkanovski.
My very last part of the question for you, Coach, I really appreciate the time. You've been very gracious. You mentioned Paulo Costa. You've had a lot of success lately. Unfortunately, you were not successful in his matchup when he fought for the title against Israel Adesanya. Tell me what went wrong in that matchup and what would be different in a rematch?
You know what? I don't even forget what went wrong. I just, you always got to give credit to the other fighters. The other fighter came out, Israel came out, did his job. We promoted, we hyped up that it was going to be the greatest middleweight fight in history, and we ended up with the silver medal. And that's that. It happens. It's happened before with me, and I've had experience this with my fighters, and we came back and won a world title, or 4 world titles to be exact, after the losses. So, that's part of growing and evolving as you go throughout your fighting career. He's never lost before, and now he has a loss, and usually that puts a chip on your shoulder, and you start making the correct adjustments to your game so that when you get that second chance, you take advantage of it, and that's what I expect to happen from Paulo the Eraser Costa. He's not done. This is just the beginning. Minor setback, and be ready for the major comeback. Paulo the Eraser Costa. He's coming to claim his seat at the throne, really.
Coach, my final question is, when Israel Adesanya beat Paulo Costa, you and him had some words. He kind of made a pretty inappropriate gesture to you. What exactly did he say to you? What did you say to him? And is this beef going to continue between you and Israel?
Actually, he came over and congratulated me. He said, he said, hey, I admire everything you did. He thanked me for everything. Hyping the fight up, and he said he liked my glass and he liked my style. Okay. And I expect some concern for him, and even said that I said we're still coming after you and Volkanovski with Pitbull, Zombie, and Triple C, bend the knee, basically.
Coach, good luck tonight, good luck this entire weekend, and good luck in the future. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, tonight you're going to see 2 of my fighters stamp their shots at the world title. Patricio Pitbull, Leandro Higo, big night, Thursday night, Bellator 249. And then be ready for November 12th when Patricio Pitbull, the greatest fighter in Bellator history, makes his return against Conor McGregor's teammate, SBG's Pedro Carvalho. We finally get to invade and conquer Ireland. First step into invading and conquer Ireland's SBG. Pitbull Brothers versus SBG. Be ready.
Thank you, Coach.